Hey, welcome to the show. Tonight's show is all about hazing. Why? Because basically hazing is bad for you. It's as bad as eating a stick of butter. And let me tell you, eating a stick of butter is worse. I mean, it's not as flavorful as cheese, but it also doesn't require a young calf die in order to make it. I mean, that's just worse. It may be good. Yes, it's even worse. Hazing is as worse as eating a stick of butter, and it can make you sick. I would never eat a stick of butter. I never would. I never would eat a stick of butter. I would never be part of a hazing group in college. And that's several reasons why I never went to college. Period. The whole reason why that is just basically because I'm not going to be part of any hazing groups. I'm not going to be part of any of the other stuff. What basically needs to happen here is we need to make sure that hazing in a public school doesn't happen. And so basically what I would suggest is just simply to say, let's not be hazing people. Because that's a type of bullying, like abuse and all kind of things. I mean, this happened. This all started days ago when 5 students, before it was 6, but before all that, there were 5 students. And then those 5 students were 4 were minors and sent to juvenile hall. 2 have turned themselves. 1 has turned himself in. But that's not. But the case is the 6th man. So, let's get you up to speed. So 2, Noah Garcia and Luke Inglis was 2 of the 6 that went to jail. The other 4 went to juvenile. Is in juvenile hall. The victim made a formal complaint. The students referred to the Child Advocacy Center to be interviewed. After all that, the Orange Grove school board say, you know what? We need to have supervision in lockers. And so now my question is, what kind of supervision do we need? And I will certainly not be having any cameras. Not one camera in the locker room. Not in the lockers. Not in the locker room. I would not even have someone watching me. If I was in a locker room, I would not have someone watching me get dressed. Nobody wants to see people in their underwear. I mean, it's like they should go to PE, put your stuff in the locker room, get dressed, get your PE clothes on, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's the whole point where people are hazing and all that kind of stuff. Already, you're asking for trouble. And 4 days after that, there was more to this than meets the eye. But the major topic of the Orange Grove ISD board was more supervision of locker rooms after a recent hazing. There was video evidence that shows several male minors hazing another male minor on the school grounds. So that's what they reported on. That is what they reported on last weeks ago. Initiation, bastardization, ragging, or devotion refers to any activity expected of someone in joining or participating in a group that humiliates, degrades, abuses, or endangers them, and regardless of a person's willingness to participate. And it all started back in 387 BC. It was also called penalism. It means a system of mild operation and torment placed on the first-year students. A bit later on, we are going to explain to you the signs of hazing and signs, the purpose, and the tips about this kind of thing and what you can do to help. But next, we're going to look at some more articles about this hazing topic besides the one that I just showed you. There's probably another one that I looked at and I never reported. As this hazing edition of Give Me a Break continues. Today's show is all about hazing, and we're looking at articles about this hazing incident that happened. And this basically happened like this happened 3 days ago. 7 returning members, including Loveland Man, pled not guilty to Bowling Green hazing. Yeah, that's in Kentucky. And this lawsuit that was filed a couple months ago in a big little liberal event at an off-campus frat house. Players were blindfolded and allegedly forced to drink an entire bottle of alcohol around 9 p.m. Fultz allegedly consumes his in well as 18 minutes, documents say. Around 10 p.m. Fultz left the party with Jacob Kryn, who was supposed to spend the night with Fultz to make sure he was okay. Kryn instead allegedly left. But the attorneys are saying instead Fultz was taken to the car in his apartment and let the woman die. And all the 7 men were charged in connection to the death. Jacob Quinn is being indicted on charges of first-degree felony manslaughter, third-degree involuntary manslaughter, reckless homicide, felonious assault, hazing, failure to comply with underage alcohol laws, and obstruction of official business. Dylan Numson, 20, of Cleveland, Ohio, has been indicted on charges of third-degree felony, involuntary manslaughter, tampering with evidence, obstruction of justice, hazing, and failure to comply with underage alcohol laws and obstructing official business. Now, before we continue, 2 of them were under the age of 21, and so were 4 people under the age of 21. Troy Henriksen of Ohio, indicted on charges of third-degree felony, involuntary manslaughter, reckless homicide, tampering with evidence, hazing, and failure to comply with underage alcohol laws. Kenny Caldwell, 21, Dublin, Ohio, has been indicted on charges of third-degree felony, involuntary manslaughter, tampering with evidence, hazing, failure to comply with underage alcohol laws, and obstructing official business. Niall Sweeney of Pennsylvania has been indicted on charges of third-degree felony, involuntary manslaughter, hazing, and failure to comply with underage alcohol laws and obstructing official business. All of those people. Jarrett Pretzel, 19, of Orleans, New York, indicted on charges of third-degree felony, involuntary manslaughter, hazing, and on still failure to comply with underage alcohol laws. Aaron Lean, 21, of Lubbock, Ohio, has been indicted on charges of tampering with evidence, hazing, and failure to comply with underage alcohol laws and obstructing official business. I mean, what is the underage alcohol laws in Kentucky? Kentucky alcohol laws let those of any age under 21 drink alcohol. A parent or guardian must give it to them. There are no restrictions whether they may drink it. It is illegal for those under the age of 21 to buy alcohol. Legal drinking age is 21. But in the case of what happened here, all the Jacob, Dylan, Jarrett, and Aaron, 4 people, did not, I think what they did is bought alcohol without the parent or guardian giving it to them. In the case of these 2, one person was over 21. These 3 were at 21. So they could buy alcohol as long as they give it to the parent or guardian. After all that, the Fultz family is asking for a jury trial. And the coroner ruled Fultz died by the alcohol level of 0.394, which is nearly 5 times the legal limit. So that's what happens in college. And this happened a couple of days ago from A News Cafe. Bar in Munford files high school football hazing complaint and cites disturbing allegations. I mean, dozens of civil hazing complaints were cited ranging from negligence, breach of mandated reported laws, failure to supervise for gender discrimination, and a variety of civil rights violations. Description of some alleged hazing abuses cited in the file complaint include teabagging. The one player places a bare scrotum on the player's face. That's something you see in Call of Duty. Simulating sexual acts such as dry humping, forced boxing matches, assault with a paya stick. The file complaint went on to describe 22 allegations, with the 23rd being for John Doe stories about events that happened in West Valley High School located in Cottonwood in southern Sasha County. Jesus Christ, I mean, who knew about this? I mean, all those people, and this is the complaint. And these are like 4, and these are 50 pages of the complaints here. I mean, Greg was the former football coach to keep the team pups. I mean, these are like 54 pages. I mean, the lawyer results, all these are 50 pages. That's like a pound of paper. And all those, and the complaint, and these complaints, I'd have to agree. I mean, hitting them with a stick, teabagging, unacceptable. You don't do that. That's worse than eating a stick of butter. Or even worse than licking a toad. It's bad. It's bad as doing drugs, eating a stick of butter, eating raw eggs, raw hamburger meat. That's worse. Don't do that. Jeez Louise. Better get on the loudspeaker here and say, this better not happen again. So, cheers to those people. And also 2 weeks ago, there were 17 people who were students suspended after varsity lacrosse team hazing investigation. We're going to look at that article when we come back. Hi, I'm John the Carmody. We're focusing in on hazing in our schools. And a bit later on, we're going to look into some tips and the signs to look out for in hazing. Our last article was from Fox 8. And this happened 2 weeks ago in Cleveland. The St. Agnes High School on Thursday announced several members of the school's varsity lacrosse team had suspended as a hazing investigation underway. According to the police, the Cleveland school was recently made of an off-campus gathering of some members of the team that happened in March. The investigation recently launched. 17 students have been suspended. The varsity lacrosse team will not participate in this weekend's tournament. And the school said police were not involved in the investigation. No criminal charges will be filed. And there will be updates on the story. Now, by looking at this, all 17 members are hazing. I mean, what could that mean? Could they have been doing the same thing as those people in that last article did? No one will know. But my guess is that one of those people brought alcohol with him, snuck alcohol with him in a plastic bag. There are serious violations of school policy and contract values as a community and will not be tolerated. I mean, hazing is the same thing as bullying, which is something I don't tolerate on this show. I talk about a lot of things on this show, and if I had to have Eric come on this show to explain his thoughts about hazing, I will have to have him on the show, no matter what the cost. You don't haze people, period. No excuse. You're in college, you don't do the same thing. And the rugby teams were suspended for hazing. It's illegal. It's against the law. All states. And what about the laws? Well, let's look at the laws. Stop hazing. Let's look at the laws. But first, let me do this real quick. Okay. Let's look at the hazing. 44 out of 50 states have anti-hazing laws in place. The strength and breadth of laws significantly vary. Some statutes also hazing for fraternal behavior only, while others are stronger, more comprehensive. Some states fail to legally address hazing at all. According to the stronger, more comprehensive laws, it is important to combat prevention. So let's look at the states with anti-hazing laws. Texas. Texas has a very strict law. And all these laws, Montana has no law, Wyoming has no law, South Dakota has no law, New Mexico has no law. Neither does Alaska, neither does Hawaii. Florida, Tennessee, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Nevada, California, and so on. They have laws. And those laws are very strict. The state in which a student chooses to attend college should not dictate the safety of students who may be at risk of experiencing hazing. And one of my main focuses on this show every time is going to be to stop hazing. So what I have done is joined with the Stop Hazing organization to help them come up with plans so that, and all states fail to legally address hazing at all. 4 states have failed. We need to get those 50 states stricter laws. In the state of Texas, Subchapter F, educational includes a private high school, public or private high school. Organization means fraternity, sorority, association, corporation, etc. Or dance team, including a variety of groups in terms of national, collegiate, athletic, association, competition, news service, socials, civil group, etc. It means any intentional, knowing, or reckless act occurring on or off the campus or any educational institution or by one person. It involves a lot of things. It involves food. Describe a paragraph E. And it's against the law, and you will be served. And if you do that in Texas, you will be served to jail. I mean, it's against the law. Those students in Orange Grove violated the law, and the rest of the students in those articles violated the law, and they're going to get what they deserve. It's like the old saying: when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. Or back to the final thought. Some great news in universities. Del Mar College and Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi, are adding mask etiquettes. That's great news, so I'm proud of that. But not so great news for the public schools. Public schools are not allowed to require face masks starting in June. It's because of the executive order, so we're going to get into more depth about that on Saturday. Now, as a final thought on the hazing incident, I mean, it's against the law to haze. Whether you're in college or in school, it's against the law. If you want to work on someone on a new team, it's like this. A simple handshake. And that's it. Just say, simple handshake and say, hey, my name's so-and-so, welcome to the team. This is so-and-so, this and that, welcome to the team. There's no hazing, there's no alcohol throwing, none of that. That's a form of bullying, and if you do that, you're going to get yourself into trouble. 44 out of the 50 have the laws, and 4 of those states don't have those anti-hazing laws because there wasn't any hazing in those states. But the 44 states have very strict laws. And in the case of those 6, 2 of them are in jail, 4 are in juvenile. Or in juvenile hall. That's because of what happened. That's the way the law works. If you want to haze someone, you go do it. If you want to haze someone, you don't do it in a public school. You're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble, and it's also against the law. Which I have no tolerance for. Period. And throughout this show, I'm going to help the organization from Stop Hazing and help with this show to stop hazing. We can end hazing and bullying together if we stick together like glue. So until next time, take care of yourself and each other. I'll see you Saturday.